it's Matt. Today we're going to make pizza using the dough that we made in our previous video. If you haven't seen that, click right here. First thing we're going to do is take the dough out of the fridge and place it someplace warm, like the oven. If you haven't done so yet, set your oven to 500 degrees using the convection feature if you have one. After the dough has had a chance to warm up, it takes about an hour or two depending on the temperature. Put some flour on a cutting board or a surface. Drop that dough right on top. Flip it over and start working it out like this. You want to leave the outside of the dough, called the cornichon, alone. So don't squish that down. Do not use a rolling pin. Just use your fingers to press out some of the air bubbles to the outside, and it'll get a little bigger. You can form it into a nice circle shape. Once you get it about this big, you can pick it up, brush off some of the flour, and stick it over your hands. Using your knuckles, gently stretch it out as you're rotating it around. If your dough is happy, like this dough is, it doesn't take hardly any effort. And you have a dough about that big. There is your crust. Now the next thing we're going to do, and this is one of my favorite things to do, is spread some olive oil around the edge. This gives it a little extra browning and a little extra flavor. Take some kosher salt, sprinkle it around the rim, and then we use our pizza sauce. You can use whatever pizza sauce you want, of course. This is my favorite. Not too much sauce. Just enough to cover it. Then comes the cheese. I like to use a mix of 50-50 cheddar cheese and whole milk mozzarella. The whole milk makes a big difference. You use about a cup of each per pizza. Spread it around, and there you go. When your pizza is ready to go, you can use something like this, which is a SuperPeel. This is my favorite invention for making pizzas. See how it slides right on? Now we'll do the pepperoni pizza. Flour on both sides. Start to work it out into a circle. Press gently. Make sure you're not squishing the cornichon. If you want to throw it up in the air, you sure can. I won't do it on camera though. See how nice and relaxed that dough is? And if your pizza doesn't want to be in a circle, that's just fine. Sometimes the dough wants to be in a rectangle or a triangle or whatever. Just go with it. A little olive oil on the end. Sprinkle kosher salt. Pizza sauce. And some cheese. Now for the pepperoni. That slides right on, and we'll bring it over to the oven. After about 5 minutes in the oven, it's starting to cook. It's looking pretty good, but the top needs some browning. So I move it to the top of the oven to let it brown up. If you don't have a convection fan, you'll notice one side of the pizza will be browner than the other. So I like to go in and flip it after about 2 or 3 minutes. So after a few more minutes, it's done. How does that look? Pretty good, huh? After I take them out, I like putting them on a cooling rack to cool down. If you try to cut it right away, you're going to get melted cheese everywhere, and it's too hot to eat anyway. So let it cool for 5 or 10 minutes, and then we can cut it up. Now look at that crust. You see all those little holes and those bubbles? That is delicious.